kids often have health issues, mental health issues. It's a challenge for these grandparents sometimes to help navigate those systems. It's as I mentioned, the issue of childcare. Sometimes these parents, if they're still working, grandparents, then they need someone to watch these kids too, which then poses an additional expense, an additional hardship. So there are so many challenges, and I think we're only now coming to discover this whole issue that people suddenly have to put a name on things, but adverse childhood reactions, or experiences, adverse childhood experiences. We're finding out that kids who have had a difficult time with their own parents and then move into a household where they're also struggling with grandparents end up having all kind of educational problems, health problems, all kind of other issues that they are at risk for bad outcomes with, because we don't address these problems seriously in the first place. So I think any of these families would tell you that it's a challenge. At the same time, they obviously love these children very much. I think one of the greatest tragedies of our whole public assistance system and our society is that we think there's some kind of a means test for loving your children. Everybody loves their children. People who are poor, people who, no matter what their circumstances are, love their children. And, we shouldn't treat them as though they don't want to work, or they don't want to look out for their kids' best interests. So I think there are a lot of challenges that these folks face, and I don't think, the $300 a month that we're offering them is anywhere near adequate. Nor do I think that, whatever we offer these folks, we should be prepared to offer intact families, because the goal would be to keep families together in the first place. Mm-hmm. If that's how much we need to raise children, then we should be willing to give it to the mom or the dad or the parents, who have the kids to begin with.
And so you discussed some of the challenges, but also too, could you just describe how much more financial support would help these caregivers? Like how financial support from the state would be able to help these caregivers?
Well, I think that there's lots of ways that we could help them. I think obviously the financial assistance we give them, I don't even feel that $600 a month is actually adequate. But certainly something more in that range, would be much better than what we're doing now, and that we should be offering that to every child in a low-income household, not just the ones that are in kinship care. And I think things like make sure that these kids have access to free daycare, so that the grandparents or the parents can work. I think we need to make sure that we have adequate subsidized housing, so people have safe places to live, adequate public transportation. I mean, there are lots of other systems around folks that need to function to make these viable households. And of course, making sure that these kids are all covered through Medicaid, mm-hmm. as are their caregivers, and to make sure that, they have the supports they need for mental health counseling, substance abuse, any of those kind of things. So we actually know what works. The truth of the matter is we know those things work. In fact, we are unwilling to share with folks in need like this. Is more shame on us than anything else.
And do you have any final comments you'd like to share with your legislators?
I do. I think that I can't imagine any legislator that didn't run for office saying that he cares about children, or that he cares about families. I mean, everybody who runs for office says that they care about families, they care about children, they care about their communities. Well, this is time to put your money where your mouth is. These are our greatest needs. This is our future. The kids are hurting right now. We have families living doubled and tripled up in housing. We have kids who are having terrible health outcomes, mental health outcomes, educational outcomes. And we know that families and children are hurting.